You're gonna love this podcast. You're gonna love this podcast. All right. Welcome everybody to episode 25 of You're Gonna Love This. Guest, would you mind switching the microphone setting back so you can be heard? Oh, nice Foley work there.
Nice.
Welcome to You're Gonna Love This. I am your host, Adam Moshcatel. On You're Gonna Love This, I try to write a perfect song for my guest every week. This week, I have with me the same. I feel like I say the same adjectives every time, but I'm gonna say them again: comedian, writer, actor, improviser. It's those four. They change order, and that's pretty much everybody. Do you have any other adjectives that would be good? Or I guess there's a nouns. Those are nouns. Do you have any other nouns that are good?
Oof, no, just adjectives like sexy.
Okay, yeah.
Good looking.
And you're gonna have a picture go up alongside this podcast, so
I'll get you. Sweet.
My listeners, you'll be able to tell how sexy and good looking this man is. I have with me Brian Bakos. Is that how you pronounce it? Did I say
correct? Yeah.
All right. You've got it's a name. I think it's so simple that it is.
People worried.
Yeah, like Moshcatel. I know you're gonna mess up, and I'm just like cool with it.
Yeah, that's true. And everybody else is cool with it too. Like,
yeah. I'm not gonna get this right, but I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
Is the attitude everybody has, and with Bakos, I'm just scared because I'm like, you're so much more likely to get offended if your name is.
Oh yeah, I'm one of those people. You look at me and you make a sound, I'll know you're talking to me.
Well, Brian, are you curious at all as to the rate of perfects I've gotten on the podcast so far? Because I know you are not a listener.
No.
Okay.
I went into this blind.
Great. I like that. It's very sometimes there's extra pressure when somebody actually knows how good you are, and I think it's nice. You've only heard the maybe 30 seconds of guitar that I played up top. That's all you know about me.
That's all I know. So far, it was so good. So.
Oh, great. Let's talk record, like I said I was going to do. I don't know why I was starting a transition. So far on the podcast, I have had, seven perfect songs.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was 6 or 7, one of those two. I got nervous. It's been weird. I didn't think I would write any. I thought I went into this. I think I've learned through this podcast that I am self-hating and thought that I was going to fail every time and thought that would be a good podcast. And when I started writing good songs, was like nervous that it wasn't a good podcast anymore because people enjoyed what I was doing. So yeah, I don't know what to do with that. I'm in a weird place where I'm above the Mendoza line in terms I'm over the 200 percentage point.
There's more pressure now. There's even more pressure than that because you got these 5-6 great perfect songs.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta live up to it. Exactly,
and so it's I think telling my guests that at the start of every episode kind of puts that pressure back on, which is good. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a weird journey these last little 6 months or so. I'm glad to have you on for it. The 25th episode. This is a anniversary episode. Yeah.
Quarter mile marker right here.
Yeah, it's an important one. Mm-hmm. Let's do a segment that I do on You're Gonna Love This. The segment is called You're Gonna Love This. I tell you, usually it's a full album, but I've been saying the same album every time and I haven't listened to anything else, so I'm going to recommend a specific song from that album to my guests in hopes that they'll like it. I guess I just say a song because I like to talk about music. But this week, the music is still from Run the Jewels 3, great album that has recently come out. And the song is called Ticketron, which is my favorite song from that album. It uses a sample of the Ticketron voice from the 90s, talking about that Madison Square Garden is fun. And that's a real good song.
Ooh, all right.
Check that out. Do you listen to Run the Jewels at all? Is that
I've heard a few of their songs, but I know they dropped the album not too long ago.
They did, right? Yeah. It was Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, that's right.
It's the first time I've ever cried when I realized new music was coming out because I was like, Run the Jewels got me a Christmas present. Yeah. This is so nice. They had slated the album to come out like in January sometime, and they were just like, you know what, you guys need this. And I was like, I did need that, guy. Thank you so much for getting it for me. Yeah. really, really lit my day up. And it's been lighting the rest of my January up since then.
Nice.
That's the end of that segment. Go listen to Call Ticketron. Let's talk music. Okay, get to put down the guitar. Oof. Other good Foley work. Lots of Foley work on this podcast, mostly because I drop things a lot. And the microphone and headphone cords sometimes will smack against the stand. That makes that noise that you're hearing, audience.
Nothing on your tables. I understand why you knock everything off.
Exactly. I'm constant.
Yep.
I'm like a cat. If I see something like just upright, it has to go over.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Just be not up, please. I grabbed a pick and I need a pen because I'm gonna be interviewing you now.
All right.
Isn't this formal and intense?
This is formal. I like it.
There's a question that I like to ask all of my guests, Brian. I'm slipping into my interviewer voice. I don't usually, but I've been listening to more NPR recently, and the sonic qualities of their voices have kind of infused me, and so I'm trying to use their
glass.
Well, Ira's a little more up in this range.
It's got those pauses that I love.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more Roman Mars. Have you listened to 99% Invisible? That's a good one. That's a good podcast. I don't recommend podcasts on this podcast. But 99% Invisible, good design podcast. He's got a deeper voice, takes interesting pauses, and it brings you in when he's talking.
That's what I love in my podcast.
You really pay attention. Yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. That is annoying myself. Brian, what mood are you in right now? Has your emotional state been for the last little while? What kind of feelings do you bring into the podcast?
It was a little sunny today. Man, I love the sun. It's been rainy the last week or two.
Yeah.
It got me real down.
Get a little bit of that seasonal affective disorder.
Exactly. I don't want to really do anything. I don't have the energy to do anything.
Sure.
The second I see the sun, I want to lie in it, and just gets me up, gets me going. It's a cup of coffee for me.
So you're energized right now.
Oh yeah, sunny day.
Great.
I'm feeling it.
And typically when you're energized, do you like to listen to kind of energetic music? Is that kind of you want to keep the vibe going, or what's your choice in those moments?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. I'm always wanting to listen to energetic music. Okay. Rarely do I ever want to listen to some sad music. That's even when I'm sad, I don't want to listen to some sad music.
Really?
Yeah.
I find it's there's different people. Some people like to listen to sad music all the time.
That's true. Yeah.
I've been getting into the Smiths recently. They're not happy. They're mostly not sad, but I think most people that think of Smiths fans as kind of liking sad music. But I think I tend to listen to music based on my mood to a certain degree, but generally also energetic. I'm not listening to like really, really, really down in the dumps, like slow me down and like I don't want to listen to that. But so what's some energetic music that you've been listening to recently then?
Oh man, the most recent energetic music.
Mm-hmm. And that is kind of a vague word for music. Most music has an energy to it, but
right. Positive, negative.
We'll keep to it, though. If I'm going to ask that kind of vague bad question and ask you to answer it. It's your job to answer my bad questions.
You know, one song that I've been trolling on people, because so much of people have been asking on Facebook these days, like, recommend me a song. I got this coming on, or I got this mood, or I got this job, or this race. And I've been recommending the song that I used to listen to all the time in 9th grade called Hose by Lil Wayne.
Hose by Lil Wayne.
It was on his Carter 2 album.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's basically, it's like almost like an argument, but it's got some jazz flute in it, and it's like, okay. Hose. Can we just talk about Hose? Why can't we just talk about Hose? But obviously in a different, manner.
Sure. Lil Wayne doesn't speak with that dialect most of the time.
You're not at all.
Did you see he had an interview recently that was real weird? He was in an interview, I can't remember, he was talking, this was the time when he said that I think he would vote for Trump. He said a lot of other words. He's a strange man.
Oh, so strange. So strange. People love him. Where I'm from. I'm from right outside of Dallas.
Yeah? I
guess he's from Louisiana, so that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, people have been loving on him in that area since 6th grade, it feels like for me.
He's like a weird guy to idolize, but that's like a thing. People are like, this is who, he's living the dream. Like, this is the life that I want to live. That's, I mean, it's a very fun life to live, I imagine. Mm-hmm. Some of the time it must be real. I would imagine being Lil Wayne is pretty sad sometimes.
It's gotta be, because he had like real bad problems with what was it called, drinking lean? Is it called lean? Mm-hmm. It's like cough syrup and it's codeine. Yep. And man, he almost had to get a liver transplant, didn't he? Or did he have to get a liver transplant?
Yeah, I think so.
That's gotta be depressing. No, sure. It's never fun to get a liver transplant.
No, especially when your career is kind of based on the crippling habit that you're talking. Not based on, but like he raps about it in almost every song.
Yeah, you're right.
It's most songs he raps about slipping on lean. That's true. Okay. I'm not gonna be able to do any sort of Lil Wayne style anything. I have no, like I've said before on the podcast that I do not want to rap on it. Even more so than not wanting to rap, I don't want to do a Lil Wayne impression. That sounds like the road to just offending everybody and everything. Like that's just, nobody wants to hear me do that.
I can suggest another group that I always crush on them is Flight of the Conchords.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
I've been to like 3 of their concerts. They're one of my favorite bands.
Wow.
But I'll never get over Flight of the Conchords.
Let's talk Flight of the Conchords. I'm a big FOTC fan. What draws you to Flight of the Conchords? I mean, it's a good the music is a good part of it, I would imagine. Yeah. You talk though.
Oh, but the fact that it's such a dry humor to it. They're so serious, but at the same time it's so funny.
Sure.
And it's that, I guess, even though they're from New Zealand, it's that British humor,
Right.
I guess they colonized New Zealand and just gave it to them. But
I'm looking you in the eyes with no smile on my face saying the stupidest shit in the world. Yeah.
I've been believing it wholeheartedly.
Man, that's going to be tough for me. I'm not good at not laughing. that's not a quality of mine.
But if you ever seen them live, the transition from one song to the next, then that's when they break. Yes. That's when they're just start cracking jokes and they're trying to make each other laugh, but at the same time they're trying to be serious and they can never do it.
That is they're peddlers of an art form. That is the musical comedy. They kind of opened up the world of musical comedy in some ways because there's it was always just the Weird Al was always the ideal and the idea of what musical comedy is, but he's just a parody artist. Yeah. There's writing funny songs that don't sound like other songs is also something you can do. Almost every musical comedian uses an acoustic guitar. That's a thought that I just had.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to think of, Tenacious D is one of the few. There's I guess metal in general is there's metal comedy bands, but I
guess the one I think of is The Lonely Island.
Sure, yeah.
I guess they don't use any...
No, they're just a hip-hop collective.
Yeah, exactly.
A loose trio of hip-hop geniuses.
If they can play any instruments, I'm sure it's just a little bit. I've never actually seen them play a song all the way through.
I think I've heard all of them say that none of them are musical.
That's
I think that's something that they've said. That's definitely... It makes me kind of regret, knowing music because it seems like it's not necessary for being successful in music. Yeah. It's helpful.
I'm sure it helps, but at the same time you see groups like The Lonely Island and you're just they're not even holding an instrument.
No. They're not post. They don't they rarely sing a tune. They rarely do anything but talk in a rhythm, which is rapping, which is art, which is music. All of it. I feel like I'm talking real weird today. I don't know why. I'm just calling that out. It's early goings on the podcast, and I want to
early goings. Get it off before the song.
Yeah, gotta get these weird vibes out before the song comes on. Okay, Flight of the Conchords though. We dove out of into just the general world of musical comedy. Yeah. What's your perfect Flight of the Conchords song?
Ooh, I guess my favorite would be. Oh, that's tough. That's real tough.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most popular ones would probably have to be their most popular one, probably now that I think about it.
You struggling to remember the name?
If I say it and then I'll go back on it and then it'll only hurt you more trying to create this perfect song. But I'm gonna have to put my foot down. I'm gonna have to say Business Time. I'm gonna say Business Time. If you're familiar with it, it's...
I'm incredibly familiar with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're one of their most popular ones.
Yeah.
I love that because it's so honest and it's so true. You're in a marriage relationship, and you're trying to figure out a way how to have sex with your wife, and you have to go through all these steps before it's like you can, and then it's just like it's 2 minutes, and then it's like over, and they're like, oh, he's so confident. He's like, oh yeah. When you said, "Is that it?" I know what you mean.
Right.
Oh, is that it?
It's like it's the thing. I think what they do in that song that's so funny is that it's there's not all music is bragging to a certain degree. Like when you write a Luther Vandross style song, you're not going to write it about an awkward sexual encounter you had.
That's true. That's true.
It's going to be about the time that you banged 1,000 people in a row. They're actually
which makes me think of one of my other favorite Fly the Conchords songs is Carol Brown.
Oh, I don't know Carol Brown.
Yeah, it's Jermaine is the main singer in that one as well, and it's from his point of view of him, all his 50 greatest lovers, from Paul Simon,
Right.
50 ways to leave a lover, but his is 50 ways how a lover left him.
I do know that. Yeah, that one's really fun.
Carol Brown just took a bus out of town, but I'm hoping that you'll stick around.
That was a good one. I think my favorite Flight of the Conchords song, I'm sure listeners are dying. They've been sitting there just screaming into their headphones. I guess why would you scream into your headphones? But they're screaming into the headphones expecting a response. Adam, why aren't you telling me what your favorite... I guess I should scream, Adam, why are you telling me what your favorite Flight of the Conchords song is? Well, it's time, guys. You get to know now. Get excited. I'm sure you just want me to say it, and you've been wanting me to say it. You knew what I was doing the moment I started this riff, and you knew that I was just stalling. You probably thought I didn't have a song planned, but I do. I've had a song the whole time. And the song is Jenny.
Jenny. Yeah.
Jenny's a great song. It's a story song. Mm-hmm. I think I tend to write story songs, or I have at least to a certain degree. Because I think I don't know. Like, I don't know how to write. Like, if I ask you, what is the, ingredients in, the lyrics of a song? I don't know. I know that you split them up in, chorus and verse and stuff, but, what do you write in them? I don't know.
That's a good question, though.
Yeah, but if you write a story, then it's easy.
Yeah.
And you just write a story until the story's over. So little tip for you budding songwriters at home. Write a story till you can't do it anymore. You wrote a song. You have to sing it. Sorry.
I did it. Oh, damn it.
Oh, I wrote a book. Dang.
Another one. Out the window.
Yeah. I've just got a backyard full of
great American
manuscripts. Okay. Flight of the Conchords, Business Time. That's a request. But you know what I like? I like that it's a very specific one. I think there are people that I think you've come on. You came on with as a stranger. You didn't know what the podcast was going to be about.
That's true.
But you had a real specific. A lot of people sometimes they struggle to. They don't feel comfortable. Just putting it out there. This is a song that I love. This is a perfect song.
Yeah.
I need that from my guests because I need you to tell me if it's perfect or not when I write you the song.
Yeah.
So if you can't tell me what your perfect song is before I write it to you, how are you going to know that it's
judge it?
Exactly. So I'm glad you jumped on it so much. I think I wanted to ask a question in there and I didn't. Interesting.
What makes it so perfect?
Yeah, what makes it perfect? I think we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah. I think that sense of he thinks he's the best in it. And he's got this. He's sly, and it starts off real slow, and it's oh, you think the song is going to be about him being this great lover, and it's just about how he's totally, disillusioned and thinking how great he is, but it's actually about how he's just living an average life, and he has to take out the recycling and the trash and do the dishes, and hopefully on the 4th Wednesday of the month he can have sex with his wife. It's like a chore for his wife, but for him it's oh yeah, and I take off my clothes very sexually, and when I'm down to just my socks, it's business time.
It's the best. I love the there's so many good banal details in that song.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the actual thing is. The work retreat 99.
Yeah, you're right.
That line.
Rockin' of the Bass by Brett. It's just
yeah. That's one thing that I've been thinking about a lot recently is that I'm a little limited in the fact that, were I to write this song and then attempt to produce it and put it out to the world, I probably would not just sing and have a guitar.
Yeah.
And so I'm worried for the listeners at home that it's becoming a little repetitive, that it's just me and guitar every time. And eventually my hope is to be able to record other shit, and then the problem right now is more one of this microphone between us than anything else. I have the ability to play some other instruments, but no ability to record them. So
not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Get other band members.
That would actually be really fun. I don't know how that would work, but listeners, comment on this part of the podcast on SoundCloud. I always implore my listeners to comment. They rarely do. They're not a very talkative bunch, but I'll get them to. Comment if you want to hear me play music with other people on this podcast. Ooh, yeah, that could be fun. And it would provide me the Brett bass that I'm missing right now. I've got just my. Oh no, Jermaine plays bass. Brett plays the guitar.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm missing my Brett. I am but a Jermaine. He's plenty. He's doing a lot. He's doing good. A lot of acting work, I think. Right? Isn't that what's going? Or is
Both of them are very successful, I think. I mean, Jermaine always plays the villain in a lot of movies. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure, Brett won an Oscar for best scoring. Best original soundtrack, right?
He did the Muppets. That's right. Yeah, I was just listening. I'm gonna do a real quick. You're gonna love this segment right here. Throw out two things. One is things we do in the shadows. The Jermaine starring movie about a found footage movie, documentary about vampires. Mockumentary, that's the word I'm looking for. And as well, Muppet or Man, the song from the Muppets movie with Jason Segel as one of the singers in it. Real good. I listened to it recently. That ends this segment. I'm done. I don't want to. I don't like doing these segments. I don't know why.
It's a good segment.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, it was real quick, real informative. I'm glad. I need to have my guest be the positive force on my podcast because I'm just like a spiral of negativity. Now I have to write you a perfect song. All right. So let me see. I've only written the word energetic. So let me write a couple more words before I ask you my final question and send you off to my bathroom.
All right.
So we're looking for Flight of the Conchords. I'm going to write that down. That's a good thing to write down. We've been talking about them for a long time. Specifically business time.
Business time.
Mm-hmm. Business time. And things liked in that song. The confidence, seriousness, details.
It's got a cool jazz, not exactly jazz, but it's kind of that mood-setting music, because it's setting the tone of this guy gonna have sex with his wife.
Yeah, he's playing. For the listeners at home, this is called a ninth chord. It's that chord.
Yeah, that's perfect. You know 100 times more about music than I do.
He does that a lot. It's that a lot. Yeah, that's the song. That's what he does. That's the funk chord.
Funk chord. Oh, I love that chord. That's why I think that's. You broke it down for me. That's why I love that song so much, because of that chord.
All right. Do you want me to just play that chord a lot in the song that I write for you? Okay.
10 out of 10.
See,
I'm easy going.
My thought was, don't just play. Don't do it the exact same. But hey, I'm asking you. I'm trying to write you a song.
Exactly.
If I'm writing me my business time, I may not do the ninth chords because I'm like, come on, Adam, ninth chords. But you're like, I just learned about this.
Yeah, I need that.
All right. I've got all the information I need and more. I feel comfortable.
All right.
I'm ready to go. I just got one more question for you, though, Brian.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard this? No. I'm going to ask the question again. I'm going to include that in the podcast, though.
Yeah, don't edit it.
No, hell no. Have you ever heard the song Cars by Gary Newman?
Cars by Gary Newman. Can you reenact some of it?
Yeah. In fact, you will have it reenacted to you via MP3 3 times in a row. Right. That is both my musical timer for you. It's how much time I have to write my song, and it's also kind of a ear drowner outer. So while I'm writing my song, you're going to be listening to Cars by Gary Newman 3 times in a row.
Perfect.
In my bathroom.
See if I've heard it or not.
We'll know.
Yeah.
You're gonna say it. I ask everybody, they all tell me. Nobody so far has been able to get off of my podcast without letting everybody know if they had heard Cars before. We'll be back.
Algorithm, 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 amen. I call to order the 113th meeting of the Council of Watchers, keepers of the Great One, servants of the Almighty Algorithm. Amen. Oh, great job, Todd.
I'm trying.
You're picking it up. You're really doing it.
Yeah.
Second meeting.
I have a question. After the last meeting, I went home and my dad has some records on the stereo. I have a question.
Oh, what records?
Paul Newman.
Oh, I love Paul Newman.
Yeah, that's the question I have. Is it
The actor?
Is that? I'm pretty sure that's his name, isn't it?
Gary
Gary Newman?
thinking of Gary Newman.
You're thinking of Gary Newman. Oh, okay, yes.
I don't really listen to old music. Is this
Old music. Gary Newman is timeless. I don't know what you're talking about.
His name is Newman.
Yeah.
How can you call it old music?
Oh, okay. Well, my question is is that what the song is?
Yes. So to fill you in,
Okay.
Gary Newman and I were buddies, best friends, you might say, and he.
Oh, did he also compliment you?
Yes, he gave me one compliment, and I said, "You're my best friend. I love you so much. Tell me all about everything you do."
Okay.
Told me about the music. Then he told me, "I've also got this side gig where I am." Cleaning and housing slumbering eldritch power within a cave in Cave in Rock, Illinois. I went with him. He showed me the cave. Blah blah blah. Here we are today.
Okay.
Yes. So yes, Gary Newman is absolutely what we're
the
singing.
part where you meet us.
I mean, okay.
Just whatever, fine.
Well, I mean we're no Gary Newman.
Yeah.
No, guys, come on.
We're here still.
Yeah.
Gary
We
Newman.
don't need to pour salt on that old wound, do we? Come on.
Is this internal drama?
Oh.
I mean, what are we talking about here?
I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn, guys, but it seems like almost every day that we meet, there's a little bit of internal drama that happens.
Sure, with any organization, we have our differences. Sure.
Power struggle.
The power seems to be firmly
Yeah, power's pretty entrenched.
stable.
Yeah. It's pretty much a 2-on-1 situation where anything that happens, I get voted down.
2-on-1, more like 1-on-2.
Yeah.
Don't make us sound like we're the
We
aggressors.
are not the aggressors. We use our democratic mindset to keep order and to appease algorithm.
Amen.
Do I get a vote?
Yes,
Oh, I get to vote now?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, it's in the charter. If you come to 2 meetings in a row, you have full voting rights. Yep. So, actually, real quick, I'd like to re-litigate a topic that got dropped earlier.
Okay.
We at one point we had tabled the motion of whether or not we should keep tallies of every time we screw up saying algorithm. I want to bring that back. Amen. I'm keeping the tallies back here. And then you guys freaking erased all of them. And I think we should start taking tallies again. All in favor? Aye. Ooh. And all against? Aye. You're supposed to say nay. Nay. And all who abstain?
Hi.
Oh, come on, Todd.
I feel like it's too early. I haven't built up any clout.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to
No, you
ruin a balance.
Vote with your heart. That's all I ask. And I think your heart knows where it should belong, and that's with Payless.
Also, in case of a tie, it goes to the culminating most number of days attended the meetings.
Seniority.
Yeah. So,
Right.
Benny and I would combine have more meetings than
Okay, that's true.
you and Todd,
That's
so it
true.
wouldn't have mattered whether we voted for it. So
I really need to research these bylaws more
Well, it's
before I
just-
start doing this stuff.
I mean,
Take some time to look at the charter again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a thing. If I have power to vote, do I have power to introduce litigation?
you do.
Sure. Yeah. Do you have something you'd like to bring to the table?
Yeah. Can I have a raise?
Oh. Well,
let's vote.
Well, hold on. I feel like this is more something that you need to put through the corporate channels at Payless. I don't really have.
Not according to our charter.
I'm happy to voice.
Wait, god damn it! Who wrote this into the charter that you can?
You did. You wrote the whole charter.
Why did I write that you can negotiate for Payless shoe store raises in this charter? I was the only one who worked there at the time.
Were you assistant manager?
I wasn't when I wrote the charter. I think maybe I was hoping that I'd bring one of the managers in and then force him to give me a. God damn it. Okay, fine. All in favor of giving Todd a raise, say aye.
Aye.
Yay!
All against?
I mean, there's no point. I'm just gonna abstain.
All abstain. Wait for the turn.
Sorry.
All of nays? No nays? Nobody? Okay. Those who abstain?
I abstain.
No. Looks like congratulations.
Todd, to celebrate your raise, you should maybe take some time off, and
Oh God.
during that time off, you can listen and get caught up to the You're Gonna Love This podcast. Listen to all the old back episodes and subscribe to be the first to hear new episodes, as well as perhaps put some thoughts into a review of the podcast and giving many stars on review sites like iTunes and liking it on Facebook. Something to consider, Todd. It's something to consider for all if we want to avoid the wrath of algorithm.
Amen.
I've heard you can even listen to the songs individually on the SoundCloud page. Just enjoy your favorite songs minus the podcast. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, Todd.
Oh, me?
Yeah, so I was speaking to you. Who did you think I was talking to?
I don't know. I thought you were trying to add on to it.
Yeah, Benny was speaking to you. Yeah, Benny was saying that to you. I was saying that to you as well.
But he was echoing.
Yeah, he was echoing. That fire turned red.
Well, Todd, I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Well, meeting adjourned.
All right.
All right.
Algorithm. Amen. They take the other people's raises out of my paycheck.
Welcome back, everybody, to You're Gonna Love This. Welcome back, Brian. How was your time in the bathroom?
It was good. It was good. I actually used the bathroom, so I use the most of my time. There's a little fact about
That's good. Every, even the tail. You use all of the buffalo.
All the buffalo.
That's great. Had you heard the song Cars by Gary Newman before?
Yeah, I'm ashamed to say I have their album.
Is that true?
That's very true. It was one of my first albums ever.
Wow, that's impressive. That's new. What does the rest of it sound like? Is it basically the same?
Yeah, you know what else is on there is what's one of their other really famous songs?
There are other famous songs?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Can they be famous if people don't know it?
I guess that's true.
Inquiring minds want to know.
I've heard it other places like what's commercials and in movies.
It's like an influential song. It's like around a lot, but maybe you don't notice it as you're not gonna know the name of it or who wrote it. You just know the lyrics and melody.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like in a mop commercial where it's like, get rid of your old dusty mops, get this new Swiffer. It was in Transformers.
Oh,
where Megan Fox.
Not Baby Come Back. Not that song. Not the Baby Come Back.
Yeah, that's on there. Yeah,
what?
That's their song. I'm pretty sure.
Oh man. This is
you
controversial.
Have to look it up. You're right.
Yeah, we're gonna need
all
some
the
research.
listeners right now are googling it.
Well, listeners, put them googling fingers down for a second because unless you can listen to music and Google at the same time, which I think almost everybody can do. In that case, leave those googling fingers right where they are. Either way, I'm gonna be playing Brian's song right now. You ready to hear it?
Ready.
All right. Switch that input over. Alrighty. This may be the most words that I've written for a song so far on this podcast. Really? I'm just noticing that right now, or at least, and this also may be the most words that I have deliberately cut out of a song. I don't have enough time to cut words out of songs most of the time, but this time I did. Let me play it because you can't be heard, so I don't want to record you poorly for very long. I see you, baby, dancing by yourself, looking around the club for somebody else. Well, I'll tell you who you're looking for. This dude staring at you from the back of the club, talking about me, babe. Yeah. I pull my Ray-Bans down to get myself a better look. Mamma mia, that's a lady. I think I'm in love. Pop them collars, boys, it's time to go to work. I walk up to her, the music gets real low. Please let me have some sex. Please let me have some sex. Please let me have some sex. Oh, you're really leaving that quick? Come on. Come on. No, it was a joke. It was a joke. Yeah, that's right. Hey, you want me to buy you a well drink, girl? That's right. Good. Yeah, I'm cool. Please let me have some sex. Please let me have some. No. All right. Fine. Yeah, I understand. That was a little strong. I'm gonna just look at Tinder. She did not like what I said to her. That was a poor choice of gift. That's
good.
your song.
That's good.
Thank you.
Song?
Here, switch yourself back so the listeners at home can hear you. There's your song, Brian.
That was good. That was
Thank
really
you.
good.
Thank
10
you.
minutes?
10 minutes.
Man.
It's called Please Let Me Have Some Sex.
Please let me have some sex. The title is perfect. The title is perfect. That's great.
I think I filtered the confidence of the Flight of the Conchords through my comedic persona, which is filled with anguish and ennui. So it started off that way and ended up not. But yeah, it's a song.
Nice.
It's written. What did you? How did I do in terms of Flight of the Conchords singing? Do you think I accomplished that?
You nailed that chord. That was perfect.
Yeah, did the chord. Did the chord.
Yeah.
I did nothing but that chord too. I put it in different positions, but it was always that chord.
That chord.
Yeah.
The setting was right. You know, that bar, there's a girl. It's always about a girl with Flight of the Conchords. You know?
Has to be.
99% of their songs.
Yeah.
Them overly confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely went overly confident. I think I realized though, I don't know if it came across in the performance, but this is the first time where I've like sang talk.
All right. Yeah.
At least for a song that I'm writing, and it's interesting. It's actually like that's one of the things that I think is one of the more difficult things that they do that is not noticed, is that they're playing music completely independently of like the rhythm of their speech.
That's true.
And it's like that's real hard. Like it's not easy to do.
You're right. I think they just come up with these stories first, and then they try to jam music into it.
Yeah, like I think that's why I like Jenny so much, is that it's like it's just a conversation, and then I mean there is also it's set to the music and well set to the music in places, but it just feels so natural and like like it's not, which is why I just kind of stopped singing at the end and was just talking, which is I guess what sing talking is. It's just talking over music.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true.
So you liked it. That's good. So we're at somewhere. That's good. I like to at least write a song that my guest likes. I don't like to leave them upset. Although it has happened.
Fly like Conchords for me. I'm never gonna listen to him again.
That would be a horrible outcome. If I somehow wrote the like, would that be because I wrote the perfect song, or be?
CR is too good. I can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that'd be fine. I'm okay with that. But if I wrote a song so bad that it retroactively ruined the genre for whoever was listening to it, haven't done that so far. It's good news. Good news.
Not yet.
At least not for my guests. Perhaps some of the listeners at home have stopped listening to punk music because of the punk songs that I've written.
Oh, yeah.
It's very possible. This is the first overtly, like, I couldn't avoid trying to be funny on this song, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this is an overtly funny song for me. Not that songs that I've written in the past for this haven't been funny.
Yeah.
But I didn't, like...
You went into this knowing that it
I had to write a funny song.
Yeah.
But what's nice is that we also talked about exactly how it is funny.
Yeah.
So, which probably made it not as fun for anybody listening. 'Cause everybody knows the key to comedy is dissecting everything about it that's funny. That's how. Yeah, that's exactly. You got to get to that's magic. It's all about just knowing exactly what's going on.
People love it when you explain your jokes. Coming from one comedian, they love it.
I remember during I was watching Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring in theaters, and I stood up and I told everybody in the audience that they were faking it, that Gandalf wasn't really that big, and everybody applauded me. The whole audience was in unison.
How old were you at the time?
I was 13.
Nice.
Yeah. Gandalf, that's Ian McKellen. He's only 6 foot. He looks much larger.
Yeah.
Good job, kid.
He tells it like it is.
That's why we like movies too.
Yeah.
So that being said, I need you to give me a perfect or not perfect rating. We haven't talked too much about the perfection of the songs on this. How do you feel about that idea, by the way? How does it feel to you being asked to record? Not record. You're not writing or recording anything. You are recording this. You're not writing anything, though.
Very little work on my end.
No. But how do you feel about the one piece of work that I give you is the monumental task of judgment? Yeah. Some people are not comfortable with the task of judgment.
It's difficult. It's very difficult. I know that you only have 10 minutes to write this song.
But that's not I guess you can judge it by whatever criteria you want.
That's true.
That determines whether something is perfect or not.
Yeah.
In my mind, the amount of time that it takes you to do something has nothing to do with how perfect it is.
Okay.
But that's not. But I do want to influence you because I don't want to get perfect that I don't feel are deserved. Which I guess in my head is all of them. I'm a complicated individual. I'm just gonna ask you: did you think it was perfect or not, Brian?
No.
All right.
It was not perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't feel it was perfect either.
Mm-hmm. It felt more of like, how can I put this in terms that I understand? Like a sketch of a song. Instead of like, you have business time,
right.
You kind of set it up. There's a beginning, middle, and end of a story.
Yeah.
That story that you told it was a middle. It was a middle. Maybe just a beginning.
Yeah, I definitely don't have the time to get a full beginning, middle, end. The other story songs that I've written have also been, if they start at the beginning, I just have to like smash cut 2 at some point in the song. There's a song that I wrote called Broken Man, which is about a man getting hurt physically, and like it starts with like little small dings his toe, and then there's just like a big leap because I was like, well, I should write more in here to go from like he got in a car crash. He got in a car crash and then he got hit by a piano in bed. That was the progression.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. I decided to write in some extra stuff later when I had the time to think about it. But yeah, maybe I will take the time to write in some extra stuff on this song later.
Oh yeah. If you do, I gotta listen to it.
All right, man. Well, if you're wondering where you can hear other songs that are like this, and I'm sure people at home are wondering it, you can go to soundcloud.com/YGLT podcast. That's Y for your, G for gonna, L for love, T for this, because some people at home, I remember I told that to somebody and they were like, oh, I just got what YGLT meant. And I was like, okay. It stands for my podcast. You can go there. You can go to the albums section. And within that are demo packs 1 and 2, the first 10 songs that I wrote, and then the second 10 songs I wrote for the podcast. And they're a lot of fun. Specific demo pack 2 is better than demo pack 1. I feel comfortable saying it. It was recorded on a better microphone. A, I got better at writing songs in 10 minutes. B, I think that's those two. Yeah. And my guests are like super high quality these days, like nothing on my episodes 1 through 10 who are like more my good friends who are on the show. But fuck those guys.
Yeah, fuck them.
Fuck all of those best friends.
Fuck your friends.
Yeah, they're the worst. Fuck my friends.
Fuck my friends.
Brian, I think we've come to the section of the podcast where I've inadvertently just started doing plugs. So, normally I preempt it so that audience members can get out quick if I'm doing it, because I know people don't like to listen to those plugs if they don't want to hear them. But we're in it now, guys, so you're hearing it whether you want to or not. Brian, what are you doing?
What am I plugging these days?
Yeah.
Monday nights, 11 o'clock at the Clubhouse. We got One Love.
That's right.
First Thursday of every month, we got Backpackers over at the Inner Sanctum at UCB Sunset. Friday nights, 10 o'clock, Fish Grease over at the Improv Space near UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
And Best Jam in Town, where you can see me jam with all sorts of comedians. Thursday, TNT. I don't host it, but I love it. It's my favorite jam in town. Ronnie Adrian, Johnny Schwartzfine. It's a great show.
I gotta jam out more.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Tonight. Stuff. It's tonight.
Yeah.
That's that is what the first T in TNT stands for is Tuesday.
Yep.
And it is, I mean, I don't want to spoil the podcast magic for you guys out there, but this does not get recorded as you're listening to it. That's not how podcasts work. This was recorded previous to the release.
Oh, don't spoil it, Adam. Don't spoil it.
But they love it. That's why people love things.
Yeah, that's true. They can listen to it anytime.
Yeah. Oh, man. I wanted to come up with another joke, but I didn't have one. So I don't know what to say. I think we're right at the end here. You got anything you want to leave with the folks at home, Brian?
Ooh, don't believe every statistic you read.
A
lot of false information out there. I just read the statistic that 5 out of 6 people agree that Russian roulette's good for you. There you go.
You're fucking jokes.
Fake news, guys. Fake news.
That's great stuff. Okay. That would have been a good place to end on. I like ending here, though. But, bye.